Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So this might be kind of a longer video, but I really want to go in depth with this and show you guys everything. So as you can tell from the title, this is a little tour of my book collection that I have in my room. So I'm going to be showing you all the books I have. Some of them I'm going to like pull out and go in depth into, probably a lot of them actually, and then some of them I'll just kind of show you. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so these are all of my books here, here, and up here, but I think these ones, there might be some back there also. So I think I'm gonna start like up here and then kind of like work my way down, like do like a counterclockwise type motion, just because I don't know, that's probably like my least favorites are like up here and like my favorites are here. Not that I like these ones any less, just like I'm more excited to talk about the ones on the second shelf. So I will start up here. So some of these I don't even know because they've just kind of been here. Okay, so when I was younger, I was like a very slow reader, so one summer my mom signed me up for this class at Nassau Community College. I was probably in middle school, and it was a reading class, and I think this was like the first book I ever like read in that class, so I love this book. Also great movie. So that's that. This book, I don't know, Joey has one of these, so I know it's like a thing, but it's like, you're like, it's called Baby's Story, and it's like a personalized, like, book about, like, when you were born and whatever, so that's pretty cute. Then this book is from, as you can tell, it's kind of like worn, is from my grandma's house. She went into a nursing home in 2007, I think. Yeah, 2007, 2008. So as we were cleaning out her house, we were going through like everything, and my mom and my aunt and uncle, which were her 3 kids, were like going through everything, and these were like my mom's books, so she got to take these and she actually like gave them to me. So this is one of them. Obviously it's about different types of shells, and I'm like into that kind of stuff. It's like pictures, and there's different like, you know, facts about all different types of shells. It's pretty cool. I've definitely looked through it a few times. I haven't really like read anything on it, but I don't know, it's something cool to have for sure. Okay, so anyone who knows me knows I love Disney. My first like 3 vlogs on this channel were like me at Disney World going for like the first time after like not going for like 4 years. And then I had the parade and the fireworks show. So if you want to check those videos out, I'm going to link them all down below. Get you in the Disney spirit. So basically I love Disney. So I have one Disney book that is just like all about Disney and the resorts and the rides and just everything. I'm sure if you've been to Disney, some of these images you'll recognize of the resorts and different parks and all that fun stuff. So love this. I want to go right into the second Disney book I have, which I think this might have been my brother's, or if not, it was like given to me when I was a very small child, and my mom like used to read stories from in here to me as a kid. So it's Walt Disney's Treasury of Children's Classics, and this is also like older, as you can tell, but it's in pretty good condition, I think. So this literally has like all the classics So, has fairy tales, classics, contemporary stories, and yeah. So it has a whole bunch of different stories. Got the Jungle Book, Winnie the Pooh, The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. Just all the classics. Bambi, of course. Alice in Wonderland. Just all the classics. Peter Pan at the end there. So, love that. I think this one was also from my grandma's house. Captured Moments, the National Library of Poetry. And, you know, just a bunch of poems. This one's about life. You Are My Friend. Just, I don't know, just like different poems. So that's pretty cool. I've never read this one either. Although it's not like a book, you could just like read poems. But that's cool. Now, I am half Italian and very into my Italian ethnicity. I started taking Italian in 7th grade, which was the first year you could take a foreign language. The choices in my school were Italian, Spanish, and French. My dad wanted me to take Spanish because he was actually thinking ahead for my future and being smart and logic, because a lot of jobs, and now I am seeing that as I'm older applying for jobs, like, you know, being bilingual is a plus, and a lot of jobs, you know, want like English and Spanish. Obviously, if you don't speak Spanish, like, I haven't had trouble getting a job. I just can't apply for jobs that require like bilingual because I don't speak Spanish. So my mom got me this book, I mean, probably around that time, like when I first started taking Italian in 7th grade. So probably 7th, 8th grade, maybe 9th grade. So yeah, I chose Italian because I was like, I'm Italian and like I want to, you know, learn my language. And honestly, probably haven't retained any of it. I took Italian all throughout middle school, high school, so that's 6 years. And then I had to take a foreign language for 1 semester in college, so I did Italian. I don't think I could do like I don't think I did like beginner's Italian because I was like too advanced, but I did like the 2nd or 3rd level. So, I mean, I pretty much at that point still like knew everything, so it wasn't too bad. Even though it was a little like more challenging. But yeah, I really want to get like back into it because I don't know. That was cool, and it's sad because it's like if you don't use it, you lose it. And like my mom took an Italian class like when she was like much older. So she can speak pretty fluent, and I just wish I still could so I could like communicate with her. I mean, if I hear like a song or if she talks, I can pretty much like understand it. But as far as like speaking it back, I don't know. I know like all the basic things, but I just wish I could have like a conversation in Italian like I used to be able to do. So I really want to get back into that. So we do have a few books behind here, so I'm going to grab those. Hopefully not fall. But the other things that are behind there are like video games, then all of my school plays, and then like the senior video that my school does. So I have The Diary, Van Frank. Stuff Every Cook Should Know. These 3 were also from my grandma's house, as you could tell. Very, very worn, but classic books. The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, The Scarlet Letter, and Little Men. This one, like, the cover's not even here, but like very old, very worn, but yes. So I got those. Then I have Webster's Dictionary of the English Language. Cute. I have this book, which I just started getting into books more as I was older, and it's definitely like certain genres. So Sharp Objects, if anyone knows and has seen the TV show. I haven't seen the TV show yet, but I read the book and loved it. One of my favorite authors. I'll pretty much read anything of his and definitely want to get more of his books and read more of his books. Pet Sematary. I saw the movie first and just recently, within the past year, got the book and read it while I was on vacation. Great book. This one I haven't tackled yet, and I've had this for a while, but like how big it is like scares me because I don't do like huge books, and I'm pretty sure this one's like well over 1,000 pages. Yeah. So it's probably around 1,100, but loved it, the first one. The original one that was Stephen King's from like the 80s that Tim Curry played Pennywise in. Loved it. The remake was amazing. It Too, that just came out a couple months ago that I saw for my birthday. Amazing. So yeah, I really do want to read this, but it's big. Then I have the 3 YouTuber books that I have. Binge by Tyler Oakley, who I was really obsessed with at the time. Now I'm more like listen to his podcast, Psychobabble. I really enjoyed that. And I will watch his videos from time to time. But this was a great book. Then I have my current favorite YouTuber that literally like have been watching for, not since he like first started, but probably since like 2011, and I think he started in like 2008, so I didn't watch him like way back, but like I've been watching him for a long time. So this was his first book, I Hate My Selfie, Shane Dawson obviously, and I loved that book. And then I got his second book, It Gets Worse, which I also really loved, and I wish he would make another book because those ones were both great. I also got this book, The Woman in the Window. It just looked really good. I haven't read it yet, but this will probably be my next book. And then I asked for this one for Christmas a few years ago. This is 101 Secrets for Your 20s, and I haven't read the whole thing, but I've read like probably, oh, there's a bookmark in it, it looks like. Right here. Bookmark. So I'm about almost halfway, maybe halfway. So yeah, this is cool. Just like things for your 20s, and I'm in my 20s. I think I asked for this like when I turned 20 or like 21. I was like, I need to know things, and I just like reading a lot more now. So that's the top row, and now I'm actually gonna cut over to here just because like these ones are my favorites, so I want to save those for last. So we are going to move on to these books. So I do enjoy writing, but I never really know like what to write about. I did used to hold a diary from like 7th or 8th grade, and maybe I wrote to like 9th or 10th grade, and I would literally write in it every night before bed, like had it next to my bed, would write in it. I honestly might have gotten rid of them, and if I did, that's like really sad because I would love to read those now just to see like what was going on, but sadly I don't have those. But like I said, I do love to write, but I just never know what to write about. So when I was Christmas shopping a couple years ago, I saw this in like the journaling section of Barnes & Noble. And basically it has different sections of all throughout your life, like different prompts, like this one's make a basic timeline of your life, list the years, any major events that happened that year. So I have, you know, up till I was 24, because that's how old I am now. And then it goes all the way, does it go to 100? Let's see. Hi. And obviously I don't write in this all the time. There was a while where I didn't. No, so it goes to 85. So there was a while where I didn't, just because I wasn't like feeling like writing. It is definitely a lot, but since I have been home on disability, like I wrote all this. Like all the black ink stuff is things that I wrote now. So let me give an example. wrote all that. Oh my goodness. So like this one says, describe using all 5 senses your childhood home. If you moved around a lot, describe the one you remember the best. What was distinctive about your hometown? What figures from that community stand out in your mind? So you just write, you know, what comes to mind, things about your life, and I really like that because, you know, it does give you prompts. So it like, you're thinking about like what it's asking you, but it's also cool to be able to like, it's going to be cool to be able to look back on this like as I get older. So then they have a section called Young Adulthood and Firsts that I wrote. This was the first time I drove a car. And then they have Adulthood, which I think the last 2 sections I really haven't written in because I'm not really there yet, and Retrospective. So it's just a really cool book of like writing prompts. They probably still have it at Barnes & Noble or like Amazon. Really cool. So if you're into journaling, I suggest getting this. Then some of my favorite books I have are books about my hometown of Long Island, where I grew up. So this one, I actually know about this book because the author, Carrie Ann Flanagan Broski, like 3 or 4 years ago, my friend Marissa and I went to our local public library, Connecticut Library, and she was holding like, she was doing like a, what's it called? Like going around and like to different like libraries or things like that, like a sort of like a book club, and like talking about like this book had already come out. I think she's done like 1 or 2 since then, but just like really cool like haunted places around Long Island. She goes there and just does all kinds of cool stuff. So we didn't buy the book then, but I kind of wish I would have because I could have gotten it autographed by her. But I didn't have cash on me. What else is new? But this is a really cool book. Then I also have, which is the first Long Island book I got. I got this at the Big Duck, which is on the cover. Long Island Oddities. So just like this is, I think that's Kings Park Psych Center. It might not be. It might be like another psych center. But just like a whole bunch of like weird things on Long Island. Because, I mean, we have a lot. And then I also got this at the Big Duck, but a different time. This is the must-see hiking destinations of Long Island. And this, we actually learned from the guy who was working in the Big Duck, was written by an 8th grader. So, like, props to him. He, like, researched, like, everything, like, all the different, like, parks on Long Island. Like, he'll give you, like, he does, like, the coordinates. So, like, this is just, like, a random one. Brookhaven State Park. Just, like, how big it is. Like, writes about it. There's, like, pictures. They're in black and white, but still pretty cool. And, yeah, definitely a cool book. And I love hiking, so once it starts getting warmer again, I'm definitely gonna, like, bring this around with me and, like, go hiking at all these different places. So I'm excited for that. Then I have another classic, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow and Other Stories, that I got in Sleepy Hollow when I went back in 2017, so 2 years ago. And this is just a classic, so I had to have that. I have another book that I love, Lulu's Cafe. This book, oh my god. This is, like, probably my favorite book ever. Like, I just, like, couldn't put it down. I finished it in, like, days, like, which is the fastest I've ever, like, read a book. Like, I just really got into it and, like, wanted to know what happened. It was, like, a Lifetime movie, but, like, on paper, and I love Lifetime movies. So it was an amazing book, and I really enjoyed it. Obviously, The Perks of Being a Wallflower. I read this, like, my senior year of high school, or, like, when I graduated, and also saw the movie. Not when it came out, but, like, just, like, on TV. So obviously, a lot of people also, I'm sure, have heard of this, if not have one yourself, Wreck This Journal. like I said, I like journaling type things. This one, I mean, as you can see, I like did some of the prompts, but definitely not all of them. Like, there's a lot more I could do, but I don't know. I thought I'd get into this one, and I don't know. I guess I just haven't, like, picked it up in a while. So this one, and then the next one I'm going to show you guys are both books I got when I was in college that I bought because I think they would be good to have, seeing as how I'm in, like, went to school for baking and pastry arts, so these all relate to my field. So I have this one, which is marketing in the hospitality industry, and then we have supervision in the hospitality industry. And you pay like money for these books, so definitely was not going to get rid of those. Then I have Color Me Creative, which I got years ago, and I like to think I'm more of an artist than I am. Like, I'm not that good at drawing. Obviously, as you can see, I've barely done any of the prompts in here. And I didn't realize this was like an actual book about like the author Christina Webb's life growing up. So that was really cool. I read all that like within a day, and then like looked through all the prompts, and I was like, I'm not that good at drawing, but like hopefully one day I'll get back into this because it is really cool. And like I said, I love that kind of stuff. And then I just got this one, I think last Christmas, and it is Tim Burton, the iconic filmmaker, and his work. And I have read through some of this, so this is like the outer cover, then you open it, and then here's the book. We've got this classic scene from The Nightmare Before Christmas, and the book just looks very creepy, like him and his work, so I love that. And it's just like, you know, about all his movies, as you can see as I kind of flip through it. Just like all the classics, like his animation style. Look at that shot. I mean, he's just like a great director, and I've always really, really, really liked him and his work. So once I saw this was a book, I like immediately put it on my Christmas list that year. And yes, love him. And actually, quick Tim Burton story. One year my mom and dad took me into the city. My brother was away at college. We went to like a kosher deli, of course, the New York Delicatessens, classic. Probably got like a roast beef sandwich or maybe like pastrami on rye with a pickle, of course. Classics. Gordon agrees. And now he's sleeping. Oh god. So, yeah, we went there, and then we went to one of the museums. I don't know if it was the MoMA or the Met or what museum it was, but like I think my mom got like discounted tickets through her job. So we went to this museum, and there was a Tim Burton exhibit that was like, not like a permanent exhibit, like a temporary exhibit. And I was like, I wish I had known this was a thing. And this was like before like social media and all that kind of stuff. So like, you would have had to known either by like going or like, I guess word of mouth. So we didn't know about it beforehand, and I remember my dad found like a ticket on the floor, and he was like, here, use this, and like, so I go up to like hand it to the guy, and it had already been used, like somebody I guess just dropped it, which I figured was the case, but I don't know, my dad was trying, because like, my whole family knows that I just love Tim Burton. So I was really sad that I couldn't go into the exhibit, but I remember like seeing the outside of it, and I was like, man, like it looked so cool. It probably would have been awesome to go in. And it hasn't come back since. And that was in like 2008, 2009. Yeah, so that's sad. But this book is really awesome. So now we have the final row, and my favorite books, which are cookbooks. So next we have my baking book from culinary school that I used all throughout culinary school except my first semester for baking 1. There was a different, I think it was the same book, just a different edition. So this is the 3rd edition. So I guess when I started they were using the 2nd edition and then I had to get this one. I still have the 2nd edition one also, but that is packed away. I don't have that on display. So I'm not really going to go through this because it is huge, as you could tell, hundreds and hundreds of pages. Obviously, I bought this because I knew I wanted to have it after school also. And I have used it here and there. You could definitely see if you really look through it, which pages were used during school. I've written in it, especially cutting the recipe in half. There's pages that have like dried up, like liquids on them of like God knows what. So I'll just go through the content. So we have professionalism, tools and equipment for the bake shop, principles of baking, bake shop ingredients, mise en place, quick breads, artisan and yeast breads, enriched yeast breads, laminated doughs, cookies and brownies, pies and tarts, pastry and dessert components, cakes and icing, custards, creams and sauces, ice cream and frozen desserts, healthful and special needs baking, torts and specialty cakes, petit fours and confections, restaurant and plated desserts, and chocolate and sugar work. So pretty much has some of everything in this book. And I love it. We're gonna get into all my favorite cookbooks, starting from the bottom and going to the top, because that's like my least favorite to my favorite, even though I love them all. So this, one of my mom's friends got me for like Christmas one year. I think this is just pretty much like chocolate, like different chocolates. I haven't really used this, but I definitely want to get back into like tempering chocolate and all that, so I'll probably look to this book. It's so funny because I have, like, as you can see, a lot of cooking books, mostly baking, but a couple cookbooks, and like, I don't know, whenever I'm like looking for a recipe, I just end up going online, which is really sad because it's like, why did I buy all these cookbooks? Quite a few of them were gifted to me, but some of them I did buy. So this one, have the Nerdy Nummies cookbook, her first book, because I think she has come out with a second, Baking All Year Round. I don't have this one, and honestly I really didn't use this one, I don't think, ever. A lot of the recipes in it were really cool, and I was a huge fan of hers. I don't really watch her that much anymore, so I don't know. I didn't feel the need to buy the second book, especially since I really haven't used the first one. But there are a lot of really cool recipes in here that I would love to try. It's just, there's so many hours in a day and I don't want to turn into a fat cow. So this one, I think my friend Marissa got me for Christmas a year or two ago, and it's called Taste of Home Bake Shop Favorites. All kinds of different desserts. And I actually used this last year around this time on Thanksgiving to make rainbow cookies, even though I clearly have a recipe, but I forgot I had that. But no, the recipe from this was really good. Everyone loved them. They turned out amazing. So this is definitely a good book. So hopefully I'll use that more. This is like the first baking book I ever got myself, which was Dress Your Cake, and all these different cool themed cakes, and I was like, I can do this. I'm a professional, even though I literally hadn't even started culinary school yet, and cakes are definitely not my thing. You know, I love them and I would love to do more of them, but it just hasn't worked out for me so far yet. So I did use this book though, probably the most, which is funny. The first cake I ever made was this one during fall time, around like 6 or 7 years ago. I also did this one, and I did this space one. Joey and I did that one year when he came to visit me. So that was fun. I definitely loved making these cakes. A lot of them turned out like pretty similar to how they were supposed to look. I remember this one I literally spent like all day doing, because you gotta bake the cakes, then there's fondant involved, and coloring the fondant, and cutting out the leaves, and piping. And this one I was definitely the most proud of. This one was pretty good, except they weren't like, I needed like a square cutter, and I think I like freehand cut them, so they weren't that great. And then this one was really hard, and didn't turn out quite like this, but I think it was like pretty similar, if I can remember. I have pictures of all these. If I can, I'll find them and show them to you now. So next I have the unofficial Harry Potter cookbook. That honestly the only reason I have this book is because my friend Marissa got like 2 of them. Like I guess like, you know, 2 different people gave this book to her, so she had an extra one. So she gave it to me. And I did just use this about a month ago to make cinnamon rolls that were amazing. So this has like dessert recipes and also just regular like dinner dishes. Also has like breakfast and stuff like that. This, if y'all know his YouTube channel, Binging with Babish, by Andrew Ray. So it has like a bunch of recipes that he's featured in videos. And I remember one year for Christmas, I think I got this for Joey because he really enjoys his videos. Like, he found him, I didn't know about him, but like we both watch him. And I remember him saying, like, this wasn't on his Christmas list, but I remember him saying, like, oh, I really want, like, his cookbook. Like, I guess in one of his videos, he was like, oh, like, get my cookbook or whatever. And Joey, like, brought it up, but it wasn't on his list. So I got it for him, and I will never forget, like, his reaction. Like, he was, like, so excited and, like, was not expecting it at all. So I love that. We've never made anything from it, of course. But, hopefully we will. And he has another book coming out too, so would love to get that. Then of course, the classic Guy Fieri. I got this for Joey also. You know, just Guy Fieri. Haven't used this either, sadly. But we love Guy Fieri, Joey and I. So had to get his book of a whole bunch of different recipes that all look actually really good, but you know, just haven't had them yet. I'm sure once Joey and I get our own place, we'll use this more, because Joey and I like a lot of the same foods. I mean, he likes spicy stuff, but like, that's not like all he eats, so I know he would like, you know, we could maybe modify the recipe a little bit so that it's not so spicy, because I'm not a huge spice person, but I feel like we would definitely use this a lot when we're living on our own. And then my favorite, Ina Garten, the Queen, Barefoot Contessa. Come on now. I love her. My Uncle Mark and Aunt Ruth got me this book for Christmas, like 5 years ago. Haven't used this one either, but I love Ina Garten. I didn't love her so much back then just because I didn't really watch her as much, but then Joey and I really got into her, and like we'll just like watch Barefoot Contessa like all day. I just love her and Jeffrey, her husband, for those of you that don't know and don't know what you're missing out on. But I have looked through this cookbook recently, actually, because I really wanted to see what was in here, and I was getting sick of eating the same stuff for dinner, like, every night. So I was, like, taking pictures of recipes, and then I never bought anything, because everyone in my family is so different. Like, some people like stuff, some people don't, and I don't want to make something that only, like, 2 people would eat out of, like, the 4 of us that live here. So it's hard, but hopefully I'll start using this book, because all these recipes look really good. And I just love Ina. So, oh my goodness, I have a lot of editing to do for that whole video, and I feel like it's gonna be like 40 minutes long, but I really want it to like go in depth and not just be like, oh, here's like all of my books and just like read the titles. Like I wanted to show you guys things and like what I like about the books and kind of flip through some of them and tell you stories, because that's how you get to know people. And books are a big part of who I am. I don't own a lot, as you can see. I mean, I don't really have the space either to keep getting books. A lot of books also throughout my life I would rent at the library. I had like my little library card. You take out a book for like however long and return it. So I don't like own a lot of books, but I've definitely read a lot of books and love books, cookbooks, different genres. I like the horror genre of books, as you can see, and yeah, just all kinds of different books. So I really hope you guys liked this video. I was really excited to film this one, and I hope you can see that. So make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.